parentheses, but today I'm going to talk kind of about something else. Sometimes some teachers in some places in the world don't teach PEMDAS, they teach GEMDAS. It's as silly of a word as PEMDAS, you're just not used to hearing it. Where the G stands for grouping symbols. Grouping symbols are parentheses, that's one set. But also, absolute value bars are grouping symbols. Other things that group stuff together are root symbols. And so the reason why I'm pointing that out to you is because just like PEMDAS, when you're simplifying all the parentheses first, absolute value works the same. Any math that's inside there, you want to do all the math first before going to the next step. Now the first few problems, there's not really too much math to do, but the next ones will get a little bit trickier. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm not actually following you. Can you tell me, like...
Okay, so if there was like more to the problem,
Mm-hmm. Inside or outside?
If there's more outside, inside you solve that, is the negative still negative, or is it positive because of the absolute value?
Once you take the absolute value, it'll become positive. Yeah. But the second thing I want to say, that's the difference between parentheses and absolute value. Parentheses just, they group stuff together, and they don't ask you to do anything else. And they don't ask you to do anything else. The lesson's really fast, just hold tight. The absolute value bars, though, they do ask you to do something else. So they group stuff together. You do all the math, so here's your absolute value bars. You do all the math in there until you can't anymore. And then the very last thing you're going to do is perform that absolute value, which means how far is it from 0, okay? And so for this first example, the first thing, let me show you what you're not going to do. This is bad math. I'm going to put it in red because red means bad. It does not mean this. This is the most common mistake for this problem. What is this person doing? They're taking the absolute value of each number separately and then adding. But what does the very first step tell you to do?
Follow order of operation.
Inside, right? And then what does the second step say? Okay. So you do not perform any absolute value until you've separated simplified inside. So what do you get inside there? 4. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah, this one was what not to do. That's why it says it does not equal that. This was bad. This is good. I know, I should have changed it, right? And now you actually do the absolute value. What's the absolute value of 4? It is 4. That doesn't help the situation to make people laugh. Makes it go longer. So absolute value of 4 is 4. All right? So on number 2, find your absolute value. Do you see it with your eyeballs? What kind of math is going on in there? Inside the absolute value. None, right? So we don't even have to do the first step. So we can skip straight to step 2. Perform all the absolute values. And what is that, Jacob? 4, right? So absolute value of negative 4 is 4. Then you go on and do the rest of your order of operations. There's no exponents. There is a multiply or divide, though. 16 divided by 4 is 4. No. No. All right, look at number 3. Just absorb it for a moment. Find the absolute value bars. What kind of math is going on inside there? Nothing. So we can skip straight to step 2. You're doing the absolute value. Everything else is staying the same. In step 2, you're only doing absolute values. So I'm going to keep the 15 up there. I'm not doing anything with that. I'm going to keep the 1 plus on the bottom. That's not changing yet. I'm not doing that. I'm only doing absolute value. Well, first I need to do the absolute value of it. So what is the absolute value of negative 2? 2. And then that would be 3. And then you add it. That's exactly right. That's right. Yes, negative 5. Okay. Now, how many absolute values do you see on number 4? 2. Which one has math inside, the left one or the right one? The left one. So you have to do that math first. What is 2 minus negative 4? 6, right? Because that's a plus plus. But please watch what I'm about to do here. I only have simplified inside, right? I haven't actually taken the absolute value yet. And the reason why I'm being real picky about that step is I want you to be very clear that the absolute value bars is a separate thing. It's an actual action you're doing. So now we take the absolute value separately before we do the multiplication, right? Because absolute value is still the first part of order of operations. It works like the P. You do everything inside the grouping symbols first before you move on. And absolute value bars are grouping symbols. And so what's the absolute value of 6? Absolute value negative 3? Now we can multiply them. What do we get? If you did this wrong, would you actually have gotten the right answer? Like if you multiplied the numbers before the absolute value, you would have, well, if you were multiplying, you would have still got the right answer. You would have got absolute value negative 18. But it would have been lucky, yeah. All right, so on those last two, what do we have to do to begin? Plug it in, plug it in. So put your plugging in. Talia, which part of the problem do I need to do first? What does that give me? That's all right. I just want what's inside the bars. Just what's inside. Don't do the absolute value yet. Negative 8, yeah. Thank you. So that's step 1, just doing math inside. So Kanye, what do I do next? Nope, because it's not an equation, so we don't have to do something like that. What does step 2 say? Okay. What'd you say? Hold on, it's just that I can't hear him. Wait. Oh, you're stuck right here? Okay, so we're doing absolute value. Do you see the absolute value? Right here? It's 8, right? Absolute value of negative 8. This piece right here just gives me 8. And now I'm going to bring down the 3. What's going on between these two things? Multiply. Talia? Because this 3 outside the absolute value, you see how there's no sign there? It just means multiply. Because they're smushed together. Smushed means you're multiplying.
I'm sorry.
Clint, what do I do next? Which thing? All right. So that's right here, right? I guess that is it GEMDOS or GEMDOS? All right, try number 6 on your own.
You know what PEMDAS is?
I know. Is that what I done?
Please excuse.
No. All right. Focus, focus, center, center. I'm ready to talk. Thank you. Which absolute value has math that needs to be done? Top or bottom? Bottom. And inside there, what do you do first?
Multiply 2 and
Negative 4 plus 3 in the bottom, which is negative 1. And then what? Did y'all not take the absolute value of the negative number? Okay, be careful about that.